Darts Masters 2017. Und wir starten mit dem UK Open Champion von 2012, dem World Grand Prix Sieger aus dem Jahre 2015. Die aktuelle Nummer 14 der Welt aus Schottland, The Thorn, Robert Thornton. Robert Thornton nimmt es mit dem Weltranglisten 6. auf. 7 Major-Titel konnte er in seiner Laufbahn gewinnen. 2016 im vergangenen Jahr gewann er auf der European Tour das Event von Hamburg. Es wartet The Machine, James Wade! Best of 11 Legs, so lautet die Distanz. Man braucht also 6 Legs, um in die dritte Runde, sprich das Achtelfinale einzuziehen. Und Caller dieser ersten Partie ist George Noble.
Well, welcome back to the Sparkassen Arena in Jena in the east of Germany for the Happy Bet German Darts Masters. We've had 8 games this afternoon, and the highest seeded casualty was Benito van der Pas in the final game of the afternoon session, beaten quite convincingly in the end by Roby John Rodriguez, the young Austrian. Most of the other seeded players managed to come through by hook or by crook. Ian White unable to do so. Jeffrey de Graaf, another storming comeback, surviving 2 match darts from the diamond. But Whitlock, Price, Huybrecht, Smith and Bunting all making it safely through. And just look at the names we've got for you tonight. The world #1 Michael van Gerwen, the winner of the first European Tour, and the UK Open champion Peter Snakebite Wright. Mensur Suljovic, winner on the Euro Tour last year. New winner on the PDC circuit, Joe Cullen. More besides, but we start with 2 of the biggest names in action this evening. The Machine, James Wade, a multiple major champion, against the 3-time major winner, Robert Thornton. I'm Dan Dawson.
Robert to throw first.
That's George Noble calling the game. And Chris Murphy is alongside me. And what a start to the evening.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
100.
Tie this one. Robert Thornton, an unseeded player, had to come through qualifying and win a game yesterday. Raymond van Barneveld also in that camp, as was Adrian Lewis, Dan, but he was knocked out in the first round by Daryl Gurney after missing 3 match starts. And this pair have played some famous matches over the years, none more so than one in the World Grand Prix, which remains the only match
140.
where both players on the stage have hit 9 dart legs. And it happened in a double start tournament.
Yes. Baffling situation.
Robert Thornton, incidentally, he went on to win the Grand Prix last year. He lost that match to James Wade. That was a last 16. And I saw him just after he came out from all his media commitments in the
100.
final. And his first words were, "I should have won it last year." He was a man on a mission. But since then, the mission is to kind of get back to that kind of form for Robert Thornton.
It has been, and when
100.
I saw that these 2 were pitted against each other, I immediately thought back to their meeting on the European Tour just prior to that Grand Prix triumph for Robert Thornton, where the Thorn went on to claim the title in Dusseldorf, beating James Wade in the semi-final with a quite astonishing display. 111 average for Robert Thornton in that semi-final. Took James Wade apart. He'd have beaten anybody.
Robbie requires 76.
And he's looking to take the first leg here. Double 8. Double 4. He likes double 4. You wouldn't know it from that dart.
He's requiring 141.
Well, it's a big one, but it's possible. Not anymore, and Robert Thornton will come back for double 2.
121.
But have to hit it.
4.
Yeah, can't allow James Wade darts at double 10. Madhouse. Last dart.
2.
Oh, Robert. Well,
you
don't need 20. Me to tell you what Robert Thornton thinks about that.
You shot in the first leg.
And there was a crushing sense of inevitability about that. James Wade, double 10, favourite double, rarely misses it and gets a break of throw. Rather surprisingly, bearing in mind how that leg was going that halfway through. And look at this from Wade.
140.
Yeah, both of these have won on the European Tour. You mentioned Robert Thornton's win. Wade has won a couple of European Tour titles, including one last year.
45.
And one in Gibraltar back in 2014, which he said at the time really kind of resurrected his belief that he could still win darts tournaments.
100.
If he was doubting it, he was probably in a minority of one.
Yeah, he's a strange dichotomy, is James Wade, isn't he?
85.
He will simultaneously say that he believes he can beat anybody and that he's got the game to do anything, but at the same time he'll say, oh, I've not played that well, never played that well, even when I won this, that and the other, I've not played well. It's just a strange thing with Wade, this sort of unshakable belief as Thornton fires in his first maximum.
61.
Unshakable belief that he's got the game, but then so self-deprecating about every performance he's ever had.
65.
Yeah, no questioning the quality of either of these players. Both have won multiple titles, multiple major titles
100.
as well.
Danger required 96.
Now to double his advantage, double 18. Cross for double 9. And Thornton has a chance
Robert, you require 91.
to put things right.
Starting the ball. He does. 16 now. Now the actual ball, the red bit. Green bit won't do.
52. Danger require 18.
Well,
Game shot in
that
the
does
second
open the
leg.
door, and
James
Wade steps through rather gratefully.
To throw first.
2-0 to the machine.
Yeah, Thornton missing darts in each of those two legs as well to win them. So it could have been turned on its head.
140.
We look through this evening session and there are a few big name non-seeds, aren't they? Robert Thornton, Darrell Gurney, who's already seen off Adrian Lewis. He takes on Jelle Klaassen. And Raymond van Barneveld, of course, we mentioned. And Mervyn King against Cristo Reyes in a match that could end up being a battle to be seeded for future European Tour tournaments.
For the next couple, so a lot riding on that. Wade fires in his first maximum. Yeah, it's important to be seeded, of course, because you enter at the second round stage. Oh, look at this. One back at you. Not quite.
125.
Even though they've changed the rules now, so as a seeded player, if you don't win your opening game in the second round, you don't get the money on your ranking. You get the money, it's just not going on your ranking.
100.
But you'd rather be in it and have one fewer game to win.
Well, the 136 isn't going, but it will be
96.
set up nicely.
121.
We've seen James Wade take out this kind of finish many, many times. Usually with a couple of trebles and a double. Oh, just inside.
107. Robert, you require 40.
The Thornton's favourites.
$20.
Robert Thornton missing darts in every single leg so far. And James Wade, to punish him, double 7 for a second break of throw and a 3-0 lead. He's getting closer, but not quite close enough.
I thought that last time was going to find its way in. He was kind of constructing a way to the double 7 bed. And Thornton finally lands a double. Snatches his dart out of the board. Kind of a punishment to the board for refusing to let the other ones find doubles. He could have been 3-0 up. Finds himself 2-1 down.
$60.
James Wade's taken lessons at the Robert Thornton School of facial reactions to dart throws this year as well. Watch out for that, because we've seen him on the Pro Tour this year and he's sort of brought that into his game himself, hasn't he?
Yeah, he does. He does like a bit of a gurn, a silly face. He's not quite as vitriolic as the Thorn. The Thorn is, he just barks
60
stuff at his own darts. Bit of a shake of the head going. It's more of a despondent Robert than angry Robert at the minute. You never feel very far away from a Robert
100.
Thornton tirade of muttered Scotch something or other at his own dart.
44.
This hasn't been a happy leg for Roberts. The winner of this one taking on Gerwyn Price, who ended, well,
85.
almost ended German hopes. He defeated their top player, Max Hopp, who again was unable to follow up a good first round performance with a similar second round one, but there is still one chance. Stefan Zietman coming up next against Joe Cullen for a German player to be in the final day.
99.
Well, levels it off at 100 there, James Wade, and even though it's not a particularly strong leg, it's strong enough right now. Robert Thornton
73.
started well enough. It's got a bit ploddy quite quickly. Nothing ploddy about this, though. Another one of those for a ton. Check
80.
out.
Right. 130.
Well, he'll have to dig something out from somewhere, Robert Thornton, but it's on. He's got a chance, and that's a good guide for the treble 20. Oh, he's pulled it low. The double 10 is usually seemingly on the end of James Wade's left arm.
20. A shot and a full flag. James Wade. The flag Robert to throw first. Game on.
14 times James Wade has won against Robert Thornton compared to 8 victories for the Thorn.
140.
Most recent one was at the Masters. That went the way of the Thorn. He won it 10-9. Real close game. And that was when Robert Thornton talked about how he'd lost the hunger for the game over the last year or so.
55.
But he felt that he'd got it back. His wife describes him as a pit bull. It's a compliment.
100.
On the dartboard, I mean.
Well, it was a decent display yesterday from Robert Thornton. 6-1 win against Dirk van Duijvenbode. In fact, he'd had as many attempts at double in that match
100.
as he has had in this one, and he'd won it.
Yeah, good finishing, 60%, wasn't he? This is better. Much
180.
better.
Second match for the Scotsman, sets up a potential 11-darter.
140. Or you require 81.
Doesn't have to go for the 12 bull route, and unfortunately he's hit the treble 15. He wanted treble 10 to leave double 16. As it is, he scored 45 instead of 30.
73.
Well, he does like double 4 as well. So no dramas. He doesn't want to create any more.
Or you require 8.
Struggling on the doubles, isn't he? Can't get there's walking, and then there's actually getting to the board. And Robert Thornton, well, I mean, I was going to say you can't get any closer without it going in. Robert Thornton genuinely thought he'd found the target. And this is a very James Wade finish. Oh, well, he stayed there looking for double 13 because he really liked the lie. And
82. Robert, you require 4.
as decent an effort as it was, he didn't get a dart for the leg. And Robert Thornton, double 2. I'm sure we'll be checking if this is in or not. Well, that's definitely not. And that's high. And it's another leg where Robert Thornton is messing around on the doubles.
24.
Well, that's 15 darts he's now missed at doubles in this match.
A shot and a 5th leg. James Wade. 6th leg, James to throw
and a complete
first.
contrast
Game on.
to what we saw yesterday from Thornton. James Wade. He's not letting up.
140. $125.
Well, there we see.
From 60% to 6.
Yeah. 1 out of 16.
100.
And I don't care how well you score. 1 out of 16 is not going to win you many games of darts.
97. $100.
James Wade, still competing in the Premier League, of course, still in with a chance of making the playoffs. Win against Phil Taylor the other night.
125.
Robert Thornton, Premier League player last year, of course, lost both his games that he played against James Wade.
Yeah, well, you would have thought that Wade's hopes would have been over if he hadn't got that victory against Phil Taylor. Robert Thornton's hopes may be over in just a couple of minutes.
100. James requires
71 for James Wade. Treble 17 or treble 13. Treble 17 it is. Double 10.
You just expect those ones to go with James Wade. Once again, he pins double 10. That's the third time he's hit it in this match, and it is no surprise. Even when he misses and his last dart in hand, just have this sense that it's going to go. And I think not only do you as a viewer have that sense, but James Wade does, importantly.
82.
Robert Thornton needs to win 5 on the spin. Wade has just done enough. I mean, it's typical James Wade stuff. He's not had to be brilliant.
140.
He's just gone about his business, and he's got a 4-leg cushion. And even if he doesn't win it 6-1, he won't care whether he wins it 6-1 or 6-5, James Wade. In actual fact, games where he's coasting towards victory, he does tend to sort of lose interest at times and allow his opponent back in before closing it out.
45.
Little quirk of fate, Dan. 10 years this year since both of these players won their first big major titles.
100.
World Masters for Thornton, of course.
Yeah, Wade won 2 in 07. That was the match play and Grand Prix.
Thornton, his 3 big TV titles, the World Masters, the UK Open and the Grand Prix, beating the main man in the world at the time along the way. He beat Martin Adams in his World Masters run. That was in the quarterfinals. But in the final of the UK Open, it was Phil Taylor. In the final of the Grand Prix, it was Michael van Gogh. In the 151, he's not going to go, and James Wade has got a finish of 80.
91. James, you require 80.
And he would love to see this go in the treble 20 to give himself 2 darts for the match at his favourite. As it is, it's going to be a single 20 for tops for a 6-1 win.
40.
Not to be just
60.
yet.
Well, the way things have gone, Wade might think he'd be back, but this time, Robert Thornton lands top first start.
Hey, for James to throw first.
And he must be thinking, where has that been for the rest of this match?
Yeah, he has missed double after double after double, the Thorn.
27.
Final day of action here in Jena tomorrow, of course. Thornton
140.
still battling to make his way there, and he's certainly built up an advantage in the opening visit of this leg.
Yeah, James Wade only scored 27 that first visit. That helped him a little bit, but Robert Thornton has effectively nicked the darts already. Certainly now. Definitely now. Oh, Robert Thornton. You said he's a fighter, Dan. Doesn't give up.
He certainly won't. We know that.
60.
But James Wade will also know that he will have more opportunities on his own throw. What a leg of darts this is from Robert Thornton, who's hobbling around. I'm not sure what the issue is. He got a foot problem? I'm not sure.
Well, he's got a slight grin on his face during this leg as well, just thinking to himself,
82.
Why now?
Robert, you require 54.
Well, if he can do it. 3 more legs after this. It doesn't matter when it comes. If James Wade can't deal with it,
Robert Thornton.
Robert Thornton could be launching a
9
monumental comeback.
To throw first. Game on.
Well, we've seen them this weekend. So on this afternoon, Jeffrey de Graaf. Saw Jeffrey de Graaf pulling out yesterday.
140.
Robert Thornton, he's shaking his head, but I mean, he's actually found his range now. I mean, He's shaking his head as if he's completely out of this match. But it's only 3 legs. I know it's 3 legs against the world number 5.
100.
But this is not over. 12 dart leg there, the best of the match.
60.
With every tournament that Robert Thornton doesn't reach the latter stages, it becomes kind of rising importance in the next one because
60.
he's in danger of slipping down the rankings. He's got that Grand Prix win coming off his rankings at the end of, towards the end of this year.
85.
That's kind of popping me up right now.
$95.
Yeah, I've only made one last 16 on the Pro Tour in this calendar year as Robert Thornton.
55.
And just the 55 there means that James Wade, with a couple of trebles, could give himself a realistic chance of closing out the match in this leg. I think he needs a second one, but he gets it.
140, or you go 161.
Well, this is a shot that they both took out for 9 darters in Dublin. Thornton's going to leave it handy.
121.
Very handy indeed, but James Wade, this is for the match.
And he's going to get a match dart, 6 for double top, for a typical Wadey way to win it. And there it is, James Wade wading past Robert Thornton with a 6-3 win and a trademark 106 checkout on double top. It is the machine, the number 7 seed this weekend, who is safely through to the 3rd round, first man through to the 3rd round from this evening's session. He will take on Gerwin Price, the number 10 seed, and a man in red-hot form. Robert Thornton, another early exit for him. We'll grab some words with Wadey, and then it's Joe Cullen and the last German standing, Stefan Zietmann.
Not easy to play Robert in the first match of a tournament.
No, not at all, you know. But I mean, as everyone can see, Robert had a bad foot. This is not normal for me, to be fair. I never get an interview in the Premier League, so it's quite nervous grounds.
The Premier League is just getting interesting now. The season's getting interesting. Do you still have a chance to qualify for the playoffs?
Yeah, of course. I've probably been a little bit too lazy early doors, but you know, I shouldn't really go back to. You know, I mean, I've just beat Robert, but I didn't beat Robert Thornton, the 100% play. You know, I beat Robert that had a bad foot, so quite glad.
Good. So, see you tomorrow again. Thank you very much. James Wade. Thank you. Er sagt, man hat Probleme und von daher war er nicht so in